Hello everyone, John Weber, your comic strip critic here. I'm actually at the REUBEN Awards in Washington, D.C., and my good friend and my guest here is Joe Wos. He is the former director of the Toonseum in Pittsburgh and is currently running his syndicated comic MazeToons through Creators Syndicate.
Yes, that's right, yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's great to have you here. Fantastic.
Now, you just started with MazeToons just a couple of months ago, I believe, right?
I did. I had stepped down from the Toonseum, the Museum of Cartoon Art in Pittsburgh, after 7 years, and decided it was enough of hanging other people's art on the walls. I was going to focus on creating my own.
All right.
And I had a list of things I wanted to do: Highlights Magazine and Games Magazine and comic books, and right at the top of that was syndication, and it happened. I mean, it was amazing.
You've done it. You're in.
Yeah, I'm in. But it was an interesting process for me, a little bit different than I think most people's experience.
How so?
Well, my experience with syndication was I've always wanted to be on the funny pages, but I don't do what normally appears on the funny pages. I don't really have a comic strip. I don't really, have a gag panel. I do these cartoon illustrated mazes. So they are solvable hand-drawn mazes with illustrations integrated within them. So, for example, I created the world's largest hand-drawn maze. It is 4 feet high by 36 feet long. So I had to come at this from a different approach. I had to find a way to pitch, this idea of mazes as something viable on the funny page. So it's a little bit different than what they were used to.
I was wondering actually if you were influenced by some other children's activity comics, things like Slylock Fox for kids and Uncle Art's Funland, things of that nature.
I absolutely love those, I really do, but they weren't so much an influence just because of where I was growing up. The era I grew up in the 70s, so a lot of that stuff was around. I was influenced by other maze creators, and MC Escher was actually probably my biggest influence.
Really?
On creating illustrated mazes. Yeah. So I loved doing it. It was unique, and then, in all honesty, one night at 3 a.m. on a Friday night, I decided, I'm doing this. I'm getting syndicated. I'm going to do this. I put together a packet of mazes I had been drawing and everything else, and what I thought the dailies would look like. Went online. Everybody's, send it in 6 months, we'll send you a rejection letter.
Right.
Which is pretty much the standard. That's what I've heard over and over and over. Creators had an online submission, put together the packet, send it to them. A couple days later, I get a phone call. They're interested.
That quickly?
That quickly. It was amazing, to coin a phrase, amazing. And within 2 weeks, we had the contract signed, and I started drawing. So it was just an amazing, amazing process, and just, I got to give creators, so much credit because they have such vision. They recognize what's happening with the funny people. They're watching things change, and they realize this is something that can sort of keep it at the forefront as the world becomes more and more about puzzles and games.
So between MazeToons and you working on the world's largest maze, congratulations, 4 feet by 36 feet, you said?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
You seem to have a particular affinity for mazes and labyrinthine subjects. What drew you to this particular aspect?
I think there's a certain amount of mental illness involved.
More so than any other cartoonist in the business.
It's a particularly mindset you have to have. It's about not just solving problems. It's actually about creating the problems that other people will solve. So it's a very, very unique approach. I grew up with mazes. I always loved them. I like the concept behind them of there's a start, there's a finish. You have a goal. There's something you achieve. There's a real sense of accomplishment of solving a maze. And my mazes, what I did to keep them that way is I put in the corner a little number. That number is how many seconds it should take to solve.
Oh.
There's not a single one that takes less than 25 seconds.
So it's not just getting to the end that's the challenge anymore, it's trying to beat the record time.
It's trying to beat that time. That time is actually my time it takes to solve.
And you created it.
And I created it.
Okay.
So to give you an idea, the way I work is I draw my dailies, I set them aside for 2 days, and then I come back and I solve them so that I've forgotten about them and what the process was. And so then I solve them. Whatever that time is, that's the time I list as the solve time. So they can be quite challenging, because if it takes me 30 seconds, it might take the average person a minute for the dailies. The Sundays can take up to, 10 minutes to solve.
10 minutes for a Sunday comic.
For a Sunday comic.
All right. Well, I'm going to give it a couple of these a try and post my best time. And if I'm good, then I can brag. And if I'm terrible, then y'all can laugh at me about it.
Well, hopefully you'll have bragging rights.
We'll see what happens. One of the other things that I came across in your biography that unique term I hadn't heard it anywhere before was live cartooning.
Yes. Live cartoon illustration. It's called Once Upon a Toon. I illustrate stories live as I tell them.
Okay.
So, for instance, I'm on stage and I did the Jazz Fest in New Orleans. And I'm on stage, there's 1,000 kids screaming in the audience and everything. And then I'll start telling a story. And as I'm telling the story, I'm illustrating it live. And then flip the page, next part of the drawing and the story, flip the page. So the single story might be up to 10 drawings.
So it's not just all on one page, though?
No, it's like watching a picture book be created live before your eyes.
That's actually a really cool concept.
Yeah, you have to be very, very fast to do it.
Okay.
So, yeah, very fast and very confident.
Okay. Is there a place where these live cartooning sessions are recorded if people want to go see them again?
Yeah, there's some up on YouTube. If you type in Joe Wos, W-O-S, Once Upon a Toon, they'll come up. There's actually an animated version of one of my stories, too. That's on there, the story of Dawn on the Farm, which is sort of a signature story.
Oh, fantastic. Okay, I will have to go check that out then.
Yeah, please do.
And you are currently getting ready to, I believe, launch or host the Three Little Pittsburghers event.
Three Little Pigs Burgers.
Three Little Pigs Burgers.
It's my first children's book.
Okay.
I'm very excited. It was a successful Kickstarter, raised over $15,000 on Kickstarter to do it. It is the story of the Three Little Pigs as translated into the language of Pittsburghese. It is the native language of a Pittsburgh.
My dad grew up in Pittsburgh. He may have to translate for me.
He may. You know what? I'll give you a quick lesson.
Okay. Give me a lesson in Pittsburghese.
Okay. So in the South, they might say you all. Okay.
Okay.
And you might say all of you.
All of you.
In Pittsburgh, we say yins. Okay. If it's a group of yins, we say yins got.
Okay.
Got it? Okay. We'd say G-jet. Did you eat yet? G-jet.
Got it. Okay.
Okay. No you. No did you.
No, did you?
Okay. Would you like to grab a couple of sandwiches?
Okay.
Chip chopped ham sandwich is thinly sliced ham, so chip chopped ham sandwich. Okay.
Okay.
Iron City beer is pronounced iron.
Arn man.
Okay. And we get our sandwiches at a place called Permandy Brothers. Okay. Permandy Brothers does the sandwich with the meat and the coleslaw and the French fries all in the sandwich.
Wow. Okay.
A Permandy Brothers sandwich. Okay. And then we do everything. We end with an at. It's a modifier.
All right.
So I might say, how you guys doing in that? Okay?
Okay.
So an entire sentence would be a conversation. We go, you guys eat yet? No, Jew. We're going down from Amber's, go cover irons and chip chop pan sandwiches and that. That would be Pittsburgh.
Okay. And so the Three Little Pigs Burgers is, like you said,
a book translated completely into that language.
That is fantastic.
There's a what we call a Pictionary.
Okay.
P-I-T-T, Pictionary in the back that translates all the words that appear in the book.
Okay.
It's, I think, 75 distinct Pittsburgh words.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's
So,
fantastic.
Yeah, it was quite an experience.
And
it would have been easier to translate the Three Little Pigs into Pig Latin than it would
I
be
would
or
really-
regular Latin for that matter than Pittsburgh.
So you said that has been released, so that's coming up soon.
It's going to be released in June
Okay.
of 2015, so
All right.
coming up real soon. And it'll be available at Pigsburg, Pigsburgh.com. Yeah, don't forget that H in our version of Pittsburgh in Pennsylvania.
Right. That's true. Speaking of Pittsburgh, you were the founder and I believe chairman is the correct
Founder and executive director of the Toonseum for 7 years.
Right, and you had a great run at the Toonseum. You voluntarily stepped on to pursue your career at MazeToons. What was your proudest moment, or one of the things that you look back on most favorably?
You know, the proudest moment is when we were able to get the Reubens to come to Pittsburgh. We had really, worked hard with Tom Richmond to really say, look, Pittsburgh's a great city. This is a great location. We'd had Tom come out for some special events for the Toonseum, and he just loved the city. And it is a great city. And my proudest moment is while the cartoonists were there, we created a public festival where people could come down, get autographs of their favorite cartoonists, meet them, get sketches, and they just had a wonderful time. That was, to me, the most important because it connected my two most beloved communities. the community of cartoonists, my peers who I just respect, admire, and my community of Pittsburgh, my city, my people, and it just sort of connected that in a way that was just so meaningful to me.
I am always can remember that as well, because that was my first time that I met so many of these cartoonists: Jeff Keane, Mark Tatuli, Jerry Scott. It was a great event. You did a great job, and you should be congratulated on everything you've done at the Twoziam. And if you're interested in checking out MazeToons, that's www.mazetoons.com, I believe.
That's right.
All right. Three Little Pigs Burgers comes out in June. Ladies and gentlemen, this has been Joe Wos. Fantastic guy. If you ever get the chance to see him, if he's touring around doing any more live cartooning these days?
Absolutely. I'm at the Charles M. Schultz Museum every summer and every Thanksgiving, which is a guarantee to see me there. So come by the Schultz Museum, not just to see me. I hear they have some good art, too.
Yeah, Schultz might.
He was pretty good.
He was pretty good. He left a little bit of an influence.
Yeah.
A little bit. This is, ladies and gentlemen, Joe Wos. Go check him out. Thanks for watching. Until next time, I'll see you later.
Bye-bye.